Hello, everyone. Good evening. This is Vinayakk Mohanarangan from the Indian Express sports team from Noida, joined by Amit, Kamath in Mumbai, both trying to make sense of what just happened in today's edition of the Asian Games. Sunday, 1st October was on schedule, meant to be a very crazy second half of the day. And it proved crazier than even what we could have imagined in our wildest imaginations. So Amit, still reeling?
Yeah, and we do have pretty wild imagination. So even by that standard, it got pretty tricky to like piece together at some point because uh, I think in Noida there was Andrew Amsan, who's our athletics correspondent. There was Vinayak, both of them trying to understand what had happened. In Mumbai there was me. In Hangzhou there is Mihir Vasavda, our correspondent on the ground, trying to figure out what happened. And at the track itself, Jyothi Yarraji, the country's fastest hurdler, a national record holder in multiple disciplines, she was trying to protest and piece together what she had done wrong and trying to make a very impassioned case for herself because uh, she was about to be disqualified for no fault of hers. And that's like a massive controversy. It was building up to be a massive controversy. Vinayak, I think before we go on, I think you should just tell people the sequence of things of how it happened.
Where do we start? Do we start with the video that went viral?
Oh no, that we'll come back to later.
No, it just goes to show, right? I mean, it's the entire Asian Games episode around Jyothi Yarraji has been a bit of a farce for no fault of hers. The fact that the video went viral on some random day saying, congrats Jyothi, and we still don't know how that affected her. And then I remember someone noted on Twitter that this is the equivalent of a false start in a race. And what do we know? We do end up getting the false start and some in this, yeah, right. So basically, yeah, Jyothi had qualified for the final. She didn't have the greatest of heats, but she had done enough to qualify for the final. And the race was always built up as one between Jyothi Yarraji and Yanni Wu of China, right? And there was also another Chinese athlete who had done really well in the heats. I was telling Andrew just before the race that I have a feeling it could be a Chinese 1-2 and maybe Jyothi bronze just based on how she ran in the heats and maybe, how she ran today early in the morning in the 200. She didn't look like 100%. Like, I mean, she looked a little leggy. So I was telling, it probably is a bronze, let's see, but, silver is a possibility. And if she gets a good start, maybe it's gold. We discussed this and 2 minutes later, the race starts. All the light shows are done. And before the gun goes off, it was a very obvious false start, right? I mean, sometimes false start is not obvious, but this was a very obvious false start and people stopped, right? And the replay showed clearly Wu making the false start. She moved well before the gun had gone. Now the officials looked at it, and so the way I saw it, they showed 2 red cards, right? I think they first showed a red card to Wu and then a red card to Jyothi. But now actually Anju George and Sony just said they actually just disqualified Jyothi. Like she's thinking that even Wu was not disqualified, which I don't think that was the case based on what we saw on television. But Anju is there in the field, so that part is still not clear. But essentially, it looked like both of them had been ejected, and both of them had a lot of things to say. Like they were not happy. You usually don't see a protest. Like I've watched athletics, Diamond League, World Championships, all these for a while now. When a false start card is given, the athletes usually go off, right? That it ends there. But Wu is such a big deal, like you've been saying in China, and the race was built up to be between them, and to see both of them disqualified, Jyothi was not pleased. She went and argued with the officials, clearly saying that she shouldn't be disqualified. And then a few minutes later, we are seeing them back on track. And Mihir, in the meantime, was trying to tell us, so it looks like both of them are disqualified. Wait, both of them are back on track. What is going on? And this is the updates that we were getting from here. And because we don't really know what the officials are speaking about, right? And then all of them run the race and no one's disqualified. And then we were told on air that, you can run under protest. I checked later in the technical regulations where if you are accused of a false start and you don't believe so, under some grounds, and if the officials think there is enough ground for, not being clear, then they can allow the athletes to run under protest. That is what it is called. And these guys, all of them ran. Then the other Chinese athlete finished first. Wu, Yanni came second. It was a very close finish, and Jyothi came third. All three of them ran sub 13. Then both Chinese athletes are celebrating with their flags, and Jyothi is having a flag around her, but we still don't know if they're going to win the medal, right? And that's when Mihir told us, saying, AFI have protested the result. They lodged a protest officially, and in minutes later, the official website actually showed Wu Yanni as disqualified and Jyothi upgraded from bronze to silver. So yeah, that in a nutshell is what happened.
Yeah.
What
So
do you make of that?
just to slightly make it simpler for those who may not follow track and field, let me just try and piece it together slightly in simpler terms, maybe for those who do not follow track and field, right? So the 100-meter hurdles race is where Yanni Wu of China uh, is the hot favorite to win the gold, because I mean she's somebody who's dubbed as the goddess of track and field in China and all of that. So she's racing. India's Jyothi Yarraji is India's fastest hurdler ever. She holds, I think, 2 national records at least that I know of. And she is also competing there. So India is expecting her a medal, uh, expecting her to medal. So both of them are about to compete in the finals. There is a false start. A false start is when an athlete starts running before the starter's gun goes off. So there is a false start. Whoever does the false start is supposed to be disqualified immediately. But for some strange reason, when the officials go to the replays, they are showing the athletes the replays. There we can see very clearly that Yanni Wu is the first one who raises her hands off the ground and starts running, and Jyothi is the one who actually reacts to Yanni's action, because you can see somebody at the side of your from your peripheral vision. So Jyothi reacted second, which means she should not have been disqualified because she was only reacting to a stimulus around her. Now, what the officials try to do is try to, at least that's what we saw on this broadcast, was that they were trying to disqualify both of them at the same time. This leads to a loud groan in the 80,000 capacity stadium, primarily home fans, because obviously the goddess of track and field has been disqualified at home soil. I'm assuming that is why the officials said, okay, you please go on. We don't want any drama here. You both can continue. We will look at it and we review it later after the race. After the race, when they review it, it's the AFI officials and India, they put up a very strong protest, and that is when Yanni Wu gets disqualified because of the false start. So that is, in essence, in a nutshell, what has happened. Uh, Jyothi finished the race third, behind another runner, and then Yanni, who finished second. Jyothi was third, but she gets upgraded to silver medal in the race. So, and insane amount of trying to figure out and piece together what has happened, because whenever we caught the broadcast, we could see that the officials were talking to Yanni Wu in either Mandarin or Cantonese, but we couldn't tell what was happening. Neither could Jyothi. So Jyothi was just standing there, gesticulating wildly, trying to tell to them that was, I mean, what did I do wrong? And she could see the replays in front of her, and she was trying to tell them that there is nothing that I have done wrong. So, and obviously, Mihir in Hangzhou, Andrew and Vinayakk in Noida, me here, all of us were trying to figure out what in the world has gone wrong. How are they allowed to race? And then we were told that, okay, she's been allowed to race only under protest and she will be disqualified later if there is something inappropriate found on her. I mean, track and field always keeps things interesting, right, Vinayak? I mean, for
Yeah.
Jyothi, I think Vinayak, it is a series of unfortunate incidents. This is just one of them, right? She's
Yeah. And she's used to this, right? I mean, that's like you mentioned, right? The video that we've already spoken about going viral on social media, but even otherwise, the wind assisted runs that deprived her of a national record when she was trying to break it for a while. And then I remember there was a dope tester not available, so she couldn't register a personal best because of that. it's just the stuff that she's been through is quite crazy. I've spoken to Jyothi and James, her coach James Hillier, and they take it in their stride. They're very they're very matter of fact people. And Jyothi, like Andrew says, is she's the word that he uses is she's crazy. She'll go to any extent to try and do what she sets out to do. Just a couple of things to add to this. Anju Bobby George on Sony just came and said that she was very displeased with the way this was handled, and all the drama was created, and the official will have to pay for this, is what she was saying. They were not doing the right thing, so we'll make sure that they are paying for it. And she also mentioned how Jyothi was disturbed because of this, right? I mean, that is something that we shouldn't overlook in the whole episode, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if see, imagine if Yanni Wu was not running, and she's somebody who's tipped to be the gold medal favorite, and then suddenly Jyothi sees that the favorite is out, and when the restart happened, when the restarted race happened, I mean, that would have been a psychological boost to not just Jyothi, rest of the field as well. So that should have happened. Why that did not happen is the next thing, uh, is the next story in a sense for us to figure out. After, in fact, the race, Jyoti did turn up in the mix zone. Mihir managed to talk to her, and she admitted that 100% she was affected by what happened, and that it hit her very hard mentally because she'd not done too well in the heats. Now, a little bit of context: at the August World Championships, she'd gone to Budapest and she'd finished seventh in her heat. She was somebody who was tipped to do very well at the World Championships as well, but then she finished seventh in her heat, did not qualify for the semi-finals, and that was also a psychological blow. So she really wanted to do well today, and then this controversy happens. So all round a very weird start, and credit to Jyoti, who's taken quite a few of these emotional, psychological blows to the psyche and still manage to keep bettering herself every time she runs. And I mean, I don't know how many times she's set and reset the national record now, because it's been a it's been way too many times. Like every time she races, we expect a subpar 12, subpar 13 second race.
Sub 13, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's done sub 13 regularly. So yeah, that's the great thing about her. And to do this race in a sub 13 too, with everything that was going on around her, she deserves a lot of credit for that. Sub 13 being, we're talking about the timing that she takes, less than 13 seconds. No one in India, no female hurdler in India had run below 13 seconds when she did it first, and she's consistently gone below 13 since. Her personal best is 12.78, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe somewhere around that. So if she had run, so she said that as well post race, mentally I was ready to give my personal best today. That was my mindset, and the whole thing happened. So yeah, maybe her personal best, with all things going well, could have given her the gold. So that is a what if that we wouldn't know the answer to unless someone knows the formula for time travel. But yeah, so that's the
Vinayakk, I think
Jyothi Yarraji
for Jyothi Yarraji, I think we should start considering her personal best, as in how much adversity she's faced before running and like winning a medal in a race, right? I mean, that should be her personal best. Today, this much.
Like they have wind measurement, right?
Absolutely.
Let's measure the adversity as well.
Yeah, so Jyothi was the final cherry. Jyothi's silver medal was the final cherry on the massive cake that our track and field athletes managed to bake. Finally, India has gone past 50 medals at the Asian Games. And just for context, at the last Asian Games in 2018, we had 70 overall medals. So we are inching close to that, and there is still one whole week of competition left. So, Vinayakk, how did the other track and field guys, who are now unfortunately pushed into slightly, the backdrop because of this whole controversy, but how did they do?
Yeah, they shouldn't be. So we'll give them the due credit here. And before we wrap up, we have to speak about them. So yeah, 2 gold medals, one from Tajinder Pal Singh Toor, the defending champion, who started off very shakily in his event with a couple of full throws. foul throws, and then finished. He won the gold essentially with the last throw, with his last throw. You don't see that very often in Indian athletics. So that was a great achievement. And Andrew has some information on how there has been a lot going on in his personal life. So he showed a great character in managing to defend that gold medal. The other gold was one that we had been expecting. Avinash Sable showed why he is probably Asia's best steeplechaser at the moment. He hasn't had a good season. It has not been great for him, which he has acknowledged multiple times. And he was looking to have a free race without worrying about tactics and all that. So he showed that from the beginning, just ran his heart out, went into an early lead, didn't worry about what the others are doing. He just ran and set a new Asian Games record. He was a little bit short of his personal best, but still a sub 820 for him, and a comfortable, dominant gold. I mean, no one was even close to him. That and those were the two goals. And then another silver that we need to talk about is Sri Shankar. I remember at 2018 Asian Games, after his long jump event, I don't exactly remember where he finished, maybe 6th or 5th. And after his last jump, he looked into the camera, right? Like the camera was there, and he looked into it and said, "I'll be back." Like he said, pointing to the camera, "I'll be back." Right. And 5 years later, at the exact event, he becomes the first Indian men's long jump medalist since 1978, I think. So that's a big achievement. He's been, I mean, obviously, Sri Shankar now is a world-class athlete. Back in 2018, he was just a promising youngster. So he's had ups and downs since, and even this season he's not been, I don't think he's been at, like, it would have gone as well as he would have liked, but he did qualify for the Diamond League final, which he skipped to come to Asian Games. And then at Asian Games, he managed to clinch the silver. Drama there as well. I mean, we're talking about Jyothi, and we're like, that drama in Sri Shankar's event almost went unnoticed. Like, just as in Birmingham, a very, very, very close call on the board. Happened in Birmingham. You would know that. A lot of arguments with the officials. He was looking, and it was like, how people look at the computer screens when they have to check their 10th and 12th board results. That's how he was looking into the computer and arguing with the officials, saying, tell me what happened. Tell me what happened. Is this a good jump? Good jump. Because he knew it was close to Wang's jump. So it turned out to be 3 centimeters short of the number 1 spot, but it was a legal jump, and that got him the silver essentially. So it was a great event there as well. Jaswin unfortunately missed out. So those were the 2 silvers, and then there was an heptathlon bronze. Then there was another silver bronze in men's running event, which was the 1500 with Ajay Kumar Saroj and Jinson Johnson. And what am I missing? Am I missing something? Yeah, Seema Punia, 40-year-old Seema Punia winning discus bronze. Her 3rd Asian Games medal. She seems to be turning up for these and, managing just fine. So she threw a season best and won a bronze. So that was all the medals from athletics today. I think India won a medal. There was Harmilan Bains as well in the women's 1500, before I forget. So, in every event that happened, there was an Indian medal in the afternoon session. So, that was quite something.
And I mean, quite something has been the theme for all our day end wraps, because there's always something big to review, talk about, right? Vinayakk, a good place to end this review?
Just I mean, before we leave, the 2 other silver medals were badminton silver and a crazy doubles badminton match, teams match, where India took a 2-0 lead against China, and then China came back showing their depth. India were without HS Pranoy, who had to sit out this match because of a back injury. They're not risking him for the individual events, so that played a part in the result. But Lakshya and Satvik Chirag was superb. Those 2 were very high quality matches. Unfortunately, Shrikant couldn't pull it off. Aditi Ashok, we spoke about her too much, quite a bit lot yesterday, and a 7-stroke lead slipped today, and she ended up finishing with silver. In her own words, it was a really bad day, and she's hoping that ultimately she can look at this week as a good one instead of a good bad day that made her go from gold to silver. The shooting campaign came to an end, so just a quick word on that. India finished with 22 medals. With a trap gold medal coming today in the team event. So that was the other gold medal that we got apart from Sable and Tour. So the trap team of Prithviraj, Keenan Chennai and Zorawar Singh Sandhu won gold. There were a couple of individual medals one individual medal for Keenan Chennai, and there was a team silver as well. So shooting came to a close. 22 medals, memorable campaign. Maybe we'll do another video later on just to discuss what happened with shooting. So yeah, that was this. So 15 medals for India today. That is as quickly as we could wrap up all that, despite talking a lot about Jyothi.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening. Please do check out everything that we do on the Indian Express website, because we have explainers, we have insights from some of the best writers in the business, talking about just recapping uh, the excellent day that we've had at the Asian Games, and in not just one way, not just in terms of explainers, but also in terms of color pieces and all of that. So, that this is me, Amit Kamath from Mumbai, and my colleague Vinayakk from Noida, signing off.